Coach just talked about the impact that you've had on the Winthrop community in 1 year. Can you describe the impact the Winthrop community's had on you in 1 year?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank the whole Big South, for putting on a great tournament, and just to represent Winthrop this year has been the opportunity of a lifetime. I can't thank Coach Kelsey and our whole staff enough. My teammates for welcoming me in. It's a difficult situation taking on a player who's only going to be here for 1 year. It's been the absolute best year of my life. I love this game with all of my heart. I wouldn't change a thing. Like, we've grown throughout the year. We've gotten better as a team. We focus on the process. There's nothing else we can say. Like, we fought, man. We made it to the final, and we left it all out on the court, and they won the game. And you know what? Failure is a part of life. It's not the first time I failed. It's not the first time this team has failed. But, the great people, not only in basketball but in life, pick themselves up after failure. And you know what? When you go after a dream that you really love with all your heart, those failures hurt the most, the absolute most. And everyone in that locker room is heartbroken. But you know what? Everyone in that locker room is going to pick themselves up, dust their shirt off, and get back after it, whatever it is. For me, I'm going to continue working out. And, we'll see what our postseason future holds. I don't, if we'll get an invite, we have to, that's, with coaching. But everybody in that locker room will pick themselves up, and we'll be back.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Tyler Kleeman from TylerKleeman.com, and I'm here with professional basketball player Jimmy Gavin. Jimmy, what's up, bro?
Hey, good to see you.
Thank
you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's
good.
A beautiful day out here.
Just got done working out?
Yeah, just got finished working out for the day, so
nice.
Looking forward to it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, thanks a lot for joining, and really excited. I read your story online, and it was very, very inspiring. For someone that loves reading about athletes and people that go through adversity and tough times in life, it's very inspiring for me as a person, but also to share that with the younger generation and with people as well. So, really inspired by your story, and I know we have a good friend, Jelani Floyd. Shout out to Jelani, and he had told me a little about your story as well. But I did want to talk a little bit about adversity. Start with talking about adversity that you've faced in your life. I know that you didn't play varsity basketball. You've battled Crohn's disease, had an unfortunate death in your family with your brother, and you've been able to overcome all those things and still be a professional player and still aspiring to make the NBA, which is your dream. So if you could just talk a little bit about adversity and some things you've gone through with your life and how you've been able to battle those things, I think it would be a great testimony for a lot of people to kind of hear that story. So.
No, like you had said, obviously, throughout the course of my journey, I faced a couple, different things that, you can definitely consider adversity with, my illness and also the death of my brother, and, not having the opportunity to play basketball in high school. But I think that what I've really learned is that you can't approach adversity as something negative. I started to look at adversities as a test. That kind of shifted my mindset towards it, because if you take negative things in your life and you try to count them up, sometimes it can seem overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But if you approach adversity as a test, and it's just this one thing, and there's some sort of lesson, there's some sort of reason why you're going through it, and there's some way that you can overcome it, I think it's more of a motivating perspective. So I started to do that with them. Mm-hmm. So you want me to give like a specific example? Or?
Yeah. If you could just give like an example of like in your life when it's specifically something that you were battling. Like it might have been something at the time that was might have seemed like it maybe not been the end, but maybe you felt a little defeated or even hopeless maybe. Right. But then like what kind of mindset did you have, or what do you think kind of pushed you over?
It? Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that I would ever play another competitive game. Okay. When I had gotten sick in high school, I didn't have a chance to play my junior or senior season. And if you don't play any varsity basketball, where do you go from there?
Right.
That was some of the questions I asked myself. Mm-hmm. So I just ended up going to school as a regular student for my first year. And
where'd you go?
I went to Mississippi State my first year.
Not to play ball, not
to play basketball. Yeah, just to go to school.
Okay.
And at that point, I didn't really have it in my mind that I would continue playing basketball.
Okay. Like it might be done.
Yeah,
that was kind of your mentality then, or?
I didn't really think about basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, I still could play. If I wanted to go to the gym, I still had talent and I was nice, but I didn't like playing basketball. because it had bothered me so much that I had lost it that I didn't even want to think about it or anything like that. I just left it over here. And then that's the year that my brother passed away in a car crash. So when I lost my brother, obviously I'd had a difficult 3 or 4 years with the illness and then my brother. So I ended up withdrawing from school. And that's when I really took the time to reevaluate my life. And that period of my life was important because I slowed down and I gave myself some time to say it's okay to be hurt by these things because they are difficult things to deal with.
Yeah.
Before, I think I always wanted to keep everything inside and just deal with it. Like, oh, I'll be good, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a man. I'll deal with it on my own. But when I started to, process it, get some help, I came out of it deciding that basketball is what I really want to do with my life. And that's when I started to work out again.
Okay. And where were you working out?
I had worked out on the court around Chicago. I just started getting in the gym by myself. What is crazy about my story, without playing AAU in high school, I really had no resume for basketball. Yeah. And I had no connections.
Just like a dude off the street, really, just going to play.
Yeah, just a regular player that people wouldn't know.
Right.
So I just started to work out. I worked out with Steve Pratt in Northbrook, and he had helped me a lot. Starting to just formalize my game, get it back in the direction of organized play because it's different than if you just go to the park and play. So I started doing that, and that gave me structure. And I started to work on my game with consistency every day. And I accepted a spot at Bradley that year to walk on and play basketball there.
That was after Mississippi State?
Yeah, that was my first time playing again. I ended up not staying there long. I had a surgery to fix my illness. So I decided to go move on, and that's when I played Division II for the next 2 years.
And where was that at again?
That was at Wisconsin Parkside.
Okay.
Yeah, so I decided to do that because I wanted to give myself a chance to be the player that I saw myself being. And I felt I needed to have an opportunity to grow and play, make mistakes, and play a lot of minutes and things like that. So I went there and I learned a lot. And then I went this past year to Winthrop, which is in Carolina. And that was really my first year playing Division I. Yeah. On a full scholarship, and but I wouldn't have been able to get there if it wasn't for the 2 seasons prior to it.
Right. So. You feel like that was really necessary to get to that next level and really well worth it.
Yeah, I think that it was important. I think one thing is when kids ask me what is important in making a decision. Well, ultimately, you need to be the coach, and you have to have a similar vision for you as a player, because you want to go somewhere that gives you a chance to be the player that you envision yourself being. A lot of coaches, will bring in players and they'll use them how they want to use them, which is fine. But you want to make sure that, the way you play the game and the person that your goals, the person that you want to be, fit into, that team's needs, because it is a team game, but it's also an individual career. Right. So I think it's important that, you do have the chance to play through mistakes and really grow as a player.
Nice, man. Yeah, and I was, reading some stuff, and I saw at Winthrop you averaged almost 19 points a game last season. So how did that feel, being a Division I player, scoring the rock and, just being a prominent D1 player? Like, how was that experience?
It was good. I mean, I played with really good teammates, and, my coaches obviously gave me good opportunities, but, I'd been preparing so hard and working so hard that when I got to Winthrop, I had created such a confidence, and I think that goes back to adversity, like we were talking about. Yeah. Every time that you face adversity head on and you overcome it, you build, like a valuable commodity within yourself. Like, you build resilience and you build confidence. And I always took that with me, and I continued to improve my game and stuff. So I really didn't pay attention to the divisions or, who I was playing against. It was more so just the fact that I had worked as hard, if not harder, than anyone that I had ever met or played against. Yeah. So when I take the court, why would I not be successful?
Yeah. That's awesome. That's such a great mentality. And we talk about adversity and we talk about all these things, and we've talked about your process, and you've came from not playing varsity ball to you were on the Orlando Magic NBA Summer League team this summer, and looking to play overseas, or some different options is kind of what we talked about right now. So talk a little bit just about your experience playing in the Summer League as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a great opportunity to be there, and it felt right because I've been dreaming and working towards the NBA. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to play basketball. And so to be in the arena, put the jersey on and stuff like that, it just felt right.
Yeah.
But it's a process, and that's like, when kids ask me now, how should I go about it? And from what I've seen, every single player I've come in contact with, whether it's friends or just players I've played with, none of us have the same journey to get to where we are.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you can end up anywhere.
Right.
For good or bad, and everyone has to put in a different amount of work. Like, there's no one formula, but there's certain things that I've seen that are universal. Like, you have to work hard. You have to continue grinding. You're going to face adversity at some point.
Yeah.
And some people might face more adversity earlier. Some people might face adversity later, but it's going to come.
Yeah.
And so a lot of your success is going to depend on how you deal with adversity, how you recover, how you bounce back. And then you need to stay confident through your mistakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is, like, the game of basketball is more than just what happens on the court. And we were talking about that earlier. It's important because, you are going to represent your university, or once if you have the chance to play pro, you're going to represent your organization.
Yeah.
And the people that, are in power at these places, the decision makers, they take, that university name or that organization name very seriously.
Right.
And you're representing that school or that team, not only when you're playing, but when you're off the court as well. And so you could have the talent, the work ethic, the game, everything, and one poor decision off the court can have you, blackballed or whatever you want to call it. It can really impact your future.
Yeah. So that's a really great point. That's something that I talk about a lot to the younger generation, is the fact, like you just said, that one decision can really impact everything. Especially if you're a scholarship player, or even if you're not an athlete. It doesn't matter.
Right.
If you're just an everyday non-scholarship student, if you're a scholarship student, any decision you make can have a direct impact. So, I think we've covered really a lot of it, but when we talk about adversity and we talk about decisions, and, you talk about your story, I guess what would be the number one or two things you would give to someone that's in high school or college right now? And maybe it's someone that's not aspiring to make the NBA.
Right.
Maybe it's someone that, wants to graduate college, or someone that wants to, get a certain GPA, or just have some kind of goal in mind.
I mean, for one, like you said, a lot of people won't play sports in college or professionally because, not even because they can't, just because people have different dreams. People have different passions. So no matter what you want to accomplish in life, it's going to be a process.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a process to get there. And how I approach it, I think that the universe rewards sacrifice. So if you have somewhere that you want to be, there's going to be a certain amount of work that you have to put in. And there's really no shortcuts to it. So whether you want to be a scientist, a doctor, an athlete, whatever it is, you're going to be representing yourself, and that's going to be your brand. So all the decisions, like your actions, the way you treat your teachers, the way you treat people, you never really know who's watching, but those decisions all can affect your long-term success. There could be somebody watching and they are in position to really empower you, but if they don't like the way you're behaving, or vice versa, or they really do like the way you're behaving, that might open a door for you. So I think it's just important to live in a manner that's in line with your dreams, like at all times, because you're always on the clock.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to be great at what you do, you're always on the clock. You can't turn it off. So it just has to become like these just constant investments. And if you continue to chip away, I had coaches and experts tell me I'll never play college basketball on a scholarship. You know what I mean? First I got a Division II scholarship. I scored 1,000 points in those 2 seasons. They told me I wouldn't get a Division I scholarship. I got that. And when I got that, they told me that, he got the scholarship, but he's not going to be good. And I was one of the most efficient players in the country this year. We had made it to the championship game, and there's going to be a lot of people along the way that tell you that you can't do it.
Naysayers and
a lot of people. And I always remind people, a lot of times when other people tell you can't do something, it's a lot of times more so how they feel about themselves. They might have had a dream that they gave up on, and they have to live with that regret. And they're going to start to project those feelings of negativity onto you. And especially when you have a big dream, Like if you have a big dream, then there's going to be a lot of energy like coming towards you, regardless, just because you have the courage to take the risk.
Right.
And with that comes good stuff and also bad stuff.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to be a pro at deflecting negativity as well.
Yeah.
Not only just a pro at what you do. So
Yeah.
I think that's important, but I think about it like this, like I represent my family and I have a name, like my name means a lot to me. I've worked hard, so my name means something. And so don't even worry about wherever you want to go. Like it starts right now, because you're building your name, and your name is ultimately like who you are in life.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much money you make, fame, or anything else that comes with being a pro athlete. All of that stuff ultimately is kind of like a distraction. You're really like, you're building your name, and you have a chance to impact others along the way.
Yeah.
So as long as you can stay focused on that, there's really nothing you can't accomplish.
Yeah. Man, that's spot on wisdom right there, man. I appreciate it, man. And you heard it right here from Jimmy Gavin, professional basketball player. He's gone through a lot, and he's heading great places. So my name's Tyler Kleeman. He's Jimmy Gavin. Jimmy, thanks a lot for joining.
Appreciate you having me.
For sure, man.
Yep.
For sure. All right, peace.
Take care.